All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Nikki, your nutritional gardener, and I help you grow your health from the ground up by teaching you how to grow nutrient-dense food that nourishes your body and balances the pillars of wellness. Tonight I have a friend of mine, alumni that we graduated the same program together. Her name is Jennifer Shepard. I'm super excited to have her on this Tuesday Tea Talk with me tonight. Jennifer is a board certified holistic nutrition and wellness coach, a clarity catalyst practitioner, and Jennifer works with people who are feeling overwhelmed, burnout, and just stretched entirely too thin. So she helps them connect with their energy, their clarity, and their sense of direction. So tonight we're going to be talking about burnout, especially the kind that shows up when people have been who care super deeply and a lot do a lot for themselves and sometimes just carry more than they should. So, Jennifer, I am really, really glad that you're here with me tonight. And why don't you go ahead and start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do?
Perfect. First off, thank you, Nikki, for letting me be here tonight and kind of talking to you about who I am and what it is, kind of a little piece of what I do. And I always think that there's something special about sitting down and drinking tea. I don't know. I didn't drill you to see if you had any tea with you today.
Awesome.
Um, I was so excited about today that I showed up an hour early. So I've had a lot of tea tonight, which is even better. But so for you and I just to have a real conversation, for somebody to hear me and for you to be heard at the same time. Um, and there's nothing polished about what we're doing. This is just a really honest conversation that we're having.
Yes.
And tonight, I just kind of wanted to talk about something many of us experience, but we don't always name it out loud. I know a lot of us will always say, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine," and that's burnout. However, I'm not talking about just exhaustion type of burnout. So, because that is one, and that could be that's a huge list, but this is burnout from everything. This is having too much on your plate. This is going in too many. This is because we're all unique. Our stories are different. And so tonight you're going to hear one story of one thing that led me to burnout. And then, we're going to circle around on how that clarity piece comes into hand, and then how I was able to put some of those pieces back together. And then I'm going to do it again every time I become more clear. Okay. And so, um, and Nikki, and I'm sure that you know that for 15 years, I was a social worker. And I worked with families and children and mothers and individuals navigating some really difficult circumstances, usually. And it was work that I believed in, absolutely deeply believed in. And like many helping professions, I was good at it. But I showed up every time, and I had this persona like nothing is, I am fine. All those things that I'm hearing, I'm fine. But what I didn't realize is that in this helping profession is how much second and third person trauma I started to carry, as well as my own, because we have our own personal trauma. So tonight I am talking about second and third person trauma. And, and Nikki, it's just a little intimate moment for you and I tonight. It's like, and thinking outside the box, not so close to home, but are there things that you hold on to that you carry with you, such as, like maybe what others think of you, or expectations of other people, or maybe you forgot to do something right, or maybe somebody misunderstood you. There's so many things that we carry with us. I mean, you,
I can definitely relate to that for sure. I think every one that you have named I can relate to. So, and I'm sure a lot of people can.
Hmm.
Everything that you said, at one moment in your past, you have came into contact with that kind or had that experience.
Hmm.
Definitely. I
Hmm.
can definitely relate. I'm sure so many others
Yeah.
can too.
Yeah. And burnouts, and I'm always going to go to where it's like it's very broad because, sometimes it is, maybe what you're carrying with you is hunger. Maybe you can't afford to eat. So that leads to, maybe you can't eat because you had your gut is upset or, and so that can lead to burnout, you know. And so, well, going back to social work and sitting with those stories with me all the time and day in, day after, I was always saying, I'm fine. But little did I know because I wear my heart on my sleeve, I was taking energy from everybody and I was never releasing it,
Yeah.
you know.
Is now, I think there's a name for that. If I'm, is it called like an impact?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's thank you. That's kind of a because it doesn't matter what I do. I absolutely take in energy from
Yeah.
people's situations.
Yep.
Um even so like how you just put it, because not everything that I led to burnout was just my job, was not
Hmm.
just social work. Um and so I was exhausted, yeah, and I couldn't sleep sometimes, and my thoughts were heavy. But again, that wasn't all just social work, Other things happen. People change. People move. Change situations. You move towns. You
Yeah.
know, um, 2020 happened for me, and that's kind of was different persona. Like it was different for me. It wasn't COVID for me. I had other stuff during that time
Mhm.
that just kind of kept piling.
Yeah.
And so what happened is, and a lot of people don't know, is like 22, I was really like my head was in the sand. I wasn't in my career. I, yes, I was working out. Yes, I was trying to be healthy and I was living that healthy life, but I was so stuck that my body wasn't changing. I wasn't losing weight. I wasn't sleeping good.
Yep.
Even
I think that a lot of people do that though. They think I'm healthy, I'm doing all these things right, but they're not looking at the
Mhm,
big picture. They're not looking at
mhm,
everything.
mhm.
So yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, please chime in. Get me off my little box. I love it. Especially because it's like-minded conversation. But the moment that kind of made me pause was, it's like I was asking for help. And the expectations that I had of others to help me wasn't okay. And I didn't like it was a big spiral. And my turning point wasn't something that I went searching for. It actually literally landed in my lap, Nikki. And you and I know each other through Nutritious Life, and we work those pillars. Holy man, do we work those pillars?
Yeah,
But because of Nutritious Life and Carrie, she gave us an opportunity to take what's called the Clarity Catalyst. And that is kind of so becoming the health coach was one step of my turning point, but having that clarity piece because I was stuck here. I had so much negativity in here that it didn't, my body, my nervous system was so upset. The burnout, like the symptoms are huge. Like I could list my gut problems and having to have vitamin D and B. And am I thinking that some of it could be up here? Yeah. Like,
definitely.
is it because I have so much of that like the energy from people or family and stories and my own negative self that I needed something to help me separate, to learn which is what. And when I took the Clarity Catalyst program, it allowed me like and I'm going to be honest, the third week taking it, I couldn't walk. And my husband's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "I am releasing." So that was that social work piece. I was releasing stories,
Yeah.
stories that I will never forget. But now, like if it comes back to me, I know how to I know how to acknowledge it, but it doesn't sit and live with me for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
3 weeks after.
Yeah.
And so what the Clarity Catalyst taught me was something very incredibly powerful. And so, but what then led to that next step, you know, is that I learned these tools and I'm like, okay, now I really want to get these tools out to everybody. And I was able to acknowledge, okay, so yeah, burnout can look like other things.
Yeah.
It can look like a depression. It could,
Hmm.
if you, where depression can look like they can resemble each other.
Hmm.
Um, but it was like when um, once I was able to get clarity and work through some stuff. And so the Clarity Catalyst gives you those tools where you learn to sit with yourself, sit with your feelings.
That's the
But
scariest thing to do, isn't it?
mhm,
My gosh. Sometimes that is a bigger feat than overcoming. To overcome your own self sometimes is harder than overcoming other people, I think, because
yep,
you're always your own worst critic, no matter how many. I remember that part of the Clarity Catalyst, the critic, your own worst
yep,
critic, or something to do with the critic. And I was like, that is so true. It is.
yep,
You're so hard on
yep.
yourself.
Well, and I had put myself, so I mean, there was more pieces to my burnout, and
Sure.
in the midst of, I had lost some people, some individuals, some friends,
Yeah.
but it had started long before, and my inner critic just went, I mean, totally, oh, like absolutely just grabbed on and just like was going for the biggest ride of their life. But now, yes, it still happens. Yes, he still or she will pop into my brain. Um, but I learned to sit with it and to ask those questions, of clarity. Like,
Mhm.
what can I do right now? Is this real? Like,
Yeah.
like, like, is this really going to turn out this way? Or did these people really like have this, like, did they talk about me? That's the worst one. Like, we always fear like how others feel about me or yourself. Like, am I enough?
Oh, yeah.
And now, and now that is one of my absolute favorite workshops is you are enough. I am enough, dang it. Like just because things don't work out or you got told no doesn't mean, and so but sometimes we add all of that into this, like we just for years we don't learn to let go of
Yeah.
anything. And so that's what the burnout happens.
It's kind of that
Um,
snowball effect. It just keeps picking up things until
yep.
you're just snowballing out of control, right?
And it's, well, and you're not paying attention. Is this hormones? Did I have enough to eat? Did I sleep well? Am I lack of supplements? But that's what's awesome is since I discovered that clarity piece, and it was kind of what my business was missing, was that clarity piece too.
Yeah.
Once I discovered that, my health now, like I am so on point of okay, I ate something, it's not what I should like because my gut was so upset with me. My nervous system, like and I now when I do work out, I can see that things are changing because my body is calm. The burnout is calm. Uh,
So you're
the
able
pat,
to be more in tune with your own self
hmm
completely, so you can feel
yep,
what's actually happening
yeah,
to you as
yeah,
it's happening. Yeah,
hmm
that makes
hmm
sense
yep.
for sure.
You know, and some those and the movement, like I for a while there, it was really hard for me to when we moved, like I did move and walking was my thing where I lived and now it's not. And so finding the walking pad here was like a something I needed, but I needed more movement. And
Mhm.
that's not necessarily the easiest thing for where I live. So I created it. And and now that I'm feeling better, like the rest of me, like the inner part of me, the nutrition, like I'm excited to eat what I'm eating or to cook again. Like I had burnt out. Like cooking was just like, and that was I knew that's when I was something was wrong.
Yeah.
Movement and that working out and just those simple practices all started to come back. And when those come back, then that clarity. And so it's just continuously like my Monday mornings, I get up and it's like that's where my ritual is I set my intentions for the week and I pray, like whether you pray or you meditate or you put your hands up or your hands down, I'm always asking for that guidance, like, give me these tools so that I can do this and help other people, and not burn out.
So before you took the Clarity Catalyst, um, just right after that you completed your course with Nutritious Life, did you have any rituals in uh, that you practiced, or was it after Clarity Catalyst that then you began to adopt these rituals?
So I would say with Nutritious Life, of course, my rituals were the probiotic, taking care of myself with the
Sure.
and how I was eating, but not necessarily holding myself accountable.
Gotcha.
Okay, to so like I have to like other things, right? Also that can lead, that comes from burnout or that can help lead to burnout. Would be your D's and your B's, right? And we all know that I have that, but I think my gut was so upset. Um, and when the things start to spark, like when your spark happens, like, and you feel good, like, oh, like, and you get that good juice, that serotonin. Yes, I think it's
Yep.
serotonin. The more you get that, then it's just easier. And the body will relax and it'll let that weight go. And it'll let you know, and then like you even want to cook, you want to eat healthier. Um, and it's that transition, that coming from, like with that clarity, once you have more of that clarity. But sometimes with some of my clients, it's the opposite. They actually do better with the health prior to the clarity. And so
Sure.
everybody, I want to just kind of make that clear that everybody is different.
Yeah,
Um,
everybody's individual on their path. That's why there's no two programs. There's
mhm,
no program that's completely set in stone. And
yeah.
this is my opinion, that is for every person. That's
Hmm.
why I think as nutrition coach, like you and I are, it should be individualized. Like you can have a broad program, but each person is going to experience
Hmm.
things in different ways. And one person, you may start with mental, like you say, mental clarity. One person, you may start with their fitness, or one person, you may start with building their community. Everything is different. So that's so true.
Absolutely. Well, and it's, and to kind of circle back to what are my rituals since I did clarity, I created, oh, my husband's gonna giggle because it's spring is coming and I created a calm corner and there's like 9 or 10 water fountains. And it's just this dingy, like we just literally we guard like there's, I'm the tulips are popping up now but we have to put all away all of the water fountains for winter. So we're just aching to put them out. But it's one of those things that I created and the minute you sit down, because like you have this sand, like it's just literally breathtaking to me. And that is a
Sound
new
healing.
sound healing.
Mhm.
It like and you can feel it, you know, so that you can move forward,
Mhm.
like with your intentions to eat healthier, to work out, to live at that healthier life. And that's just I love my calm corner. My office here, what people don't see on this other side is actually part of my gym, but it's also calm. It's all calming. It's
Yep.
it's kind of like my space.
Hmm.
Um, and that's like, making sure that I have me stuff.
Yep.
We are always taking care of other people too. Like that is another part of burning out is caring and caring deeply.
Yeah. Setting healthy boundaries is very important. Like
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
don't realize how important
Mm-hmm.
boundaries are
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, people are naturally consumers, and that means consuming energy, consuming your thoughts, and
Mm-hmm.
not intentionally. People don't intentionally drain other people, but it's just a natural process. So we have
Mm-hmm.
to set those boundaries with everybody. I set my boundaries with my kids, my husband, my parents, my
Yep.
everybody,
Yep.
colleagues, everybody. You have to set those healthy boundaries for your own sanity and mental health and all of that. So I'll
Yep.
let you get back.
Yep.
I can go on
No,
and on. Jennifer,
it's
you got to
well,
stop me.
no, because I mean that like we right here is where we could lead. Like my other thing is gardening. Like it's you can tell when I don't have like my mom lives 9 steps outside this thing in my house, and so we share. She can see the garden area. I am very shareful,
Mhm.
but I finally had to put the boundary. You see me enter this gate, you are not to
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Dot
That is
dot dot dot
exactly,
dot.
that's right. That's
And it's
right.
and
Set
it and
that.
it
That's my space.
it's I can come out and then you can tell me how I should plant what, or if the weeds are growing the wrong direction. I don't know. But it's if there's anybody like, and that's my one boundary. But it's hey, I eat those vegetables too. So it's
That's
like,
right. Well, I
um,
tell people their garden is their work of art. You know,
mhm,
it's got to come from your heart because when you walk into that garden, that is where that's where you
mhm,
release all of your stresses and that's where you find peace and that's where if your garden is full of weeds, that's your garden and that is your creative space to do with it what you will.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's
every garden should be unique and different. So, no two
yep.
gardens are the same.
Well, and it's, and that kind of helps us, like for me to kind of segue into because yours is for gardening and but where you and I both come from, you know, are and this is I like to build with people, which are the ingredients. You do pillars or
Yep.
carried as pillars through nutritious life, and
Hmm.
it's like so. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to bring some of these pillars out. I'm going to bring them all out,
Yeah.
and I'm going to ask you a question. When it comes to that burnout, like, are there things lacking, like that sleeping deep, sweating often, stressing less, eating empowered, drinking up, living consciously, loving more? Now, for me,
Yes.
I say practice mindfulness and then nurture yourself. So
Yep.
if we are like in that checklist, what could you be missing right now? Can you tell me
Oh,
one
in
that you're
my
missing?
life,
Yeah.
oh, about 8 out of 8. 8. No, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot. I definitely I do live quite consciously. I feel like my biggest thing is my stress less because I like to put a lot on my plate. So I will spread myself as thin as possible and I do really good under pressure, I feel. I mean, my
Hmm.
husband says I don't, but I feel like I do really good under pressure and I kind of thrive, but then I get so thin that I I have to drop everything because it almost everything stresses me out. So
Yeah.
if I would not spread myself so thin and I commit to too many things, it would probably be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we all, and we all, so like none of us are perfect.
No.
And it's like, so each one of those pillars or ingredients or how you put it, if one of those is not doing its justice, that can lead to burnout. And
Yeah.
so, and it's hard to just, like to pinpoint one thing.
Hmm.
And, but it is recognizing it in the midst of it.
Yeah.
And when that clarity comes and that mindfulness piece comes, it's like calling it out and knowing it and be like, oh, and feeling it and, and moving forward right away, and not allowing it to, take hold of, who you are.
Yeah. I think by just recognizing I kind of look at it as the eight pillars in a circle domino. So it's just that one that's going to push it over, and then it's going to circle down and trickle down and knock every one of those dominoes over.
Hmm.
So if you
Hmm.
can find the one that is wiggling the most and
Yep.
focus on it and kind of nurture it to the point where it stays steady, then keep
Yep.
perfecting the others.
Yep.
But I think, like you say, it's just getting that clarity to be able to pinpoint and identify the one that is top radar, and then
Yep.
really honing in on it and nurturing that aspect, that pillar. So yeah,
Well, because I mean, it very well could be that you're not sleeping well, but if there's something on your mind
yeah,
and you're trying to figure out, is it the mind that's causing the racing or is it your hormones? Having that clarity in between will help you. Oh, like, wait a minute.
yeah.
Maybe the hormones exacerbate that situation, but um, it's that way when you go into your naturopath or your doctor, and it's hard. I was at an event, a women's health fair this last week, and I was talking about, like how like advocating for yourself. Like, I'm not feeling good, but I don't know what it is. And they should really in how to take focus on like what is the burnout, asking all the questions. And really it's asking all of those ingredients of nourishing yourself or the pillars of life
Mm-hmm.
first before, hey, of course blood tests are great, but
Sure.
burnout, there's always something behind.
That's triggering it. That's
Mhm,
creating it.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yep. You know,
Yeah.
and I mean, wouldn't it be nice, like maybe if you are feeling exhausted all the time and you're like, oh man, I'm burning out. I have so much on my plate. But what if it's because you're not having enough protein too? The protein can maybe help you ride it a little bit longer
Yeah.
or, and so
It could
that's
be
why.
you're having not good relationships either. Like um
Mhm, mhm,
not having a quality relationship with your spouse, or maybe there's
mhm,
some tension between you and your children that's not making you sleep and causing you to overeat in the morning. Like it's a ping pong effect. So finding that burnout, and
mhm.
I always like to get like, and I can even think, well, this is the pillar that I am struggling with the most. But that's where you build your relationships. Even like you and I can come to you and be like, this is what's going on with me. And you can see something completely different. And it may be like, well, you said, you only
Mhm.
slept 4 hours last night. It just getting that, not necessarily like a second opinion, but having those relationships with your spouse or with a coach, with somebody that you can trust to help see see the forest through the trees, that whole saying.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's yeah, what if something's causing you to feel more burnout and it's not your fault that things are
Hmm.
because we could of course we can replace burnout with anything,
Sure.
making you feel more overwhelmed, making you feel more whatever you want to place if it's a negative situation, of course, but it's that domino effect, like you said. Like how can, and that's what you and I do. We help pinpoint
Right.
um, just that. you know, and and making sure for me, it's making sure, like my analogy is the recipe, just if we push something and push something, or if we don't necessarily follow things the way it should be, it might not come out the way we want it.
Yes. Right.
If you go too fast, or if you don't move enough, or but continuing all of those, putting, yeah. Yeah. And then if you still hit a wall, you start again. You try
Yep.
again. You figure it out.
Yeah.
That's
You go back to the beginning and start over, and
mhm.
eventually something will surface because it
Yeah.
may not necessarily uh I can go through all of the list with a client, and we may not find anything, but when we resurface it, or when we go back around and work through it again, something usually resurface that, like, oh, I didn't think that was a big deal. Like, that's, I've heard that before. I didn't
Mhm.
think that was a big deal. And it's like, that's a very big deal. That's the key to open the door. That is what is
Yep.
causing the burnout in the first place. We
Yeah.
just, the smallest thing can be the thing that just breaks the camel's back, and then boom. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Kind of tailing back to I tabled this last weekend just because it's fresh in my mind. And I did these little mini moments. And one of them was I created a space for people to come in and sit down. And it was a women's fair because it was International
Yeah.
Women's Day, of course, the theme. And so I just said, is there anything heavy on your heart, on your mind, racing your brain, creating you ways to just feel burnt out or uneasy, like just things. And part of the Clarity Catalyst, well, and actually it's with the Clarity Catalyst that I teach. There's also Insight for Life for children, and part of their course, their program is they do something that's called writing and ripping. And so I created a safe space for individuals to come in, sit down, write and rip. And
Love it.
there were a couple that were hesitant. And I tell you what, and this is just one little mindfulness piece, but to catch their bodies are going to tell them. Your bodies will always tell you what's going on.
Yep.
And these two individuals, they sat down and one started writing, and I knew that this was individual. I knew it was going to be a good thing. The second one was just like, I'm fine. I don't need, like, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Within 30 seconds of starting to write, like you could just kind of see the tears in like her body and was telling her and like that she needed to take a deep breath and release something. And so she wrote,
Release. Yes.
and but that was like, and I told her your body was, and she had never paid attention and listened to herself.
Yeah. I think that is one of the main things. And I push like journaling all the time, just because I feel like once it's kind of like using all your senses. So, I want you to write your thoughts, whatever comes to your mind. So you're seeing it and you're writing it. And then I want you to read it out loud to yourself.
Mm-hmm,
And then I want
mm-hmm.
you to hear it. And then I want you to throw it away because it's
Yeah,
gone.
that's
So
good.
that's just kind of a symbolic thing of, okay, this is my bad energy, my bad thoughts. It's no longer with me. It's gone. It doesn't serve me anymore. But I think that using all of your senses like that, that's how I teach my kids. I homeschool my kids. That's how I teach them. I'm like, if you can't listen and read it in your head, then read it out loud, because you're going to hear it and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see it and you're going to speak it. You're using all of those senses to really get it dived in, get it in deeper. It was the same thing with journaling. You're getting it all out on paper and then you're releasing it, getting it. Yeah. So I am a huge advocate, and I push everybody to journal. That is
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I push is journaling, and getting out in your garden, of course.
It's, well, of course, and feeling that and eating. Oh, I'm sorry. It's so hard, Nikki, I got to be honest. Every time you say garden, my mouth waters. And then, like, when I say Nikki, my mouth waters, like, all my life, like, all day long. Nikki, my mouth will water. Because it's that new, because your body and your mind, and like, you create, when you're able to feel that
Mm-hmm.
and you crave that
Yeah.
nutritiousness, the nutrients and what
Mm-hmm.
it does to you. And then for me, it's watching it grow and saying, I grew that, you know,
Yes.
and that's a whole nother topic for me.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's super important for me to see that. It's like but that not allowing it things like that to feel heavy, but to enjoy
Mhm.
those moments.
Yep. Oh yeah, we could go
Hmm.
on and on about the difference, the different pillars of how I incorporate it. Just like you said, watching it grow. That is so, if you really get in tune and get clarity, like we're talking
Hmm.
about this evening,
Hmm.
the just the simple act of walking out into your garden and seeing these plants come to life, to me it's almost, it's mesmerizing. Like you are the
Hmm.
god of your garden. You get to see the process of birth and life and going back into the ground, death, all of it. You see the circle of life every single season. It's
And
miraculous.
hoping it comes back for
And
me. That's where I get burnt out because I'm like, oh my God, did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? And um,
give yourself
we,
grace.
I know we had the weirdest winter of my entire life. We
Yep.
have had no winter, so it's like, and our flower, we've had zero winter.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, it's so weird.
my mom's irises are this tall.
Really?
Oh, and my tulips are this big. My daffodils, like
Yeah.
it's and so my mint, you know, burnout. We totally
We
went a
just
different
totally
direction.
completely.
It's okay. I- That also but those are
Yeah.
things, all pieces of
Yeah.
that circle that can,
Right.
it's like, oh no, are we gonna have, but we'll see. The flowers might not make it because we might, if we freeze, everything will, but that's
Yeah.
not going to
But that's
create
crazy
worry.
for Montana not to have a winter.
It's not.
I mean, wow. It sounds like you're having the winter that we had, like for our area in Illinois, like in Southern Illinois. So that's weird. Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll get you,
That,
I've distracted you from the topic. I got you on gardening and here.
yeah, I love it. But that's my joy. That's what
Yeah.
you have to do. So it's like when you
Yeah.
teach, and I will, whatever brings joy, and teaching
Yeah.
clarity and being a health coach and helping individuals who burn out, or if they're on the purpose of burnout, whether it's at work or just at home.
Yeah.
Husbands can help you burn out, partners can help you burn out, children can help you burn out. That's it's not our fault. It's not
Yeah.
it's just you're just missing some of those tools, forgetting that there are tools that can help you
Right.
with situations.
So now you
So,
teach the Clarity Catalyst.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
do you do that like once or twice a year, or is it once a year? I know it's an amazing program. So can you
So
tell us a little bit about the Clarity
I
Catalyst program?
Okay, so I teach it. My next course will be the 19th. We just finished one up. However, you
Okay.
can anybody can message me at any time and we can create your own group.
Oh,
Or if there's a time and day, then I will try to help market and get other people involved. And I teach corporate culture catalyst, and then I also teach kids 10 to 17, which is Insight for Life. Um, and it's just kind of for those, I just offer it, but it's really creating, if people know, like, hey, I have a group of people. Called corporate. It's kind of, it's nice.
yeah,
But I'm always offering it. Not so much in the summer and then around holidays, just because people are busy. But there's
sure.
always going to be an 8-week course starting at some point. So,
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
mhm.
Yeah, I will definitely share that because I know that program is really, really, it's really good for a lot of people,
Well,
and
and I'm going to
everybody should
chime in.
probably take it. I
Yeah.
should finish it.
So here, and no pressure at all, and I'm a little stinker. But it's really good for the family to take it at the same time.
Oh, I bet.
I teach it separately, which is for
Hmm.
homeschooled children. It's even amazing for homeschooled children. Um,
Awesome.
because it is tools for life. It's how, it's how,
Right.
and there's like an actual curriculum for them. They, some things are a little different from the adult course.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to watch Disney. There's movies that they have to watch with it, and it really helps them with that creativity, but it gives them other ways of creativity and to
Very
just
neat.
kind of let things, but it's kind of nice to watch because when the family does it, the live withs, which a little piece of what you do know is identical to theirs.
Okay.
And so then the family does it at the same time. It doesn't have to, but it always matters like how deep somebody goes in with it. It can
Mm-hmm.
be surface level, it could be in the middle,
Yep.
or it could be deep, deep, deep. But each time somebody takes it, just like each time I teach it, I actually kind of take it with them. You become lighter, things become easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I still have moments. Yes, you're going to have a moment. We are human. But
Yes.
then understanding from those moments are like, because then there's also hormones, which is a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole other bag there.
But that goes hand in hand. I help
Yeah.
individuals understand, oh, was that my hormone? Through this
Mm-hmm.
clarity work. So,
Okay. Very good. Well, I might share
but
that with my co-op group. I think that would be something good because it's an 8-week course that's about the same.
mhm.
And see what they think about it. I'll get some information from you about the kids portion of it. I think that would be something really good for my co-op group to get involved in.
I mean, it helps these kids just really, it doesn't
Sure.
matter where they're at. Where I live, there's a lot of homeschooled children. Um, and we're a small community. I live between two
Yeah.
really big communities, and I commute to them, but where I live, there's only 800 of us.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and and so maybe at least there's over 150 homeschool kids out of that 800, which is a lot.
Oh my, that is a lot.
Mm-hmm,
Wow.
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm,
Interesting.
mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So yeah, but
Okay.
well, thank you for letting me be here
Yes.
tonight and kind of walking you through that burnout situation and
Yes.
and how, we didn't dive as far into, like the importance of nutrition and, the rest of those pillars versus just that clarity piece. Um,
Right.
but, if I'm going to leave you, like, if I kind of want to end with that one piece, because we all have one that is missing. And I
Right.
fixed what was missing, and then it allows all the other ones to your little circle, it allows the rest
Yeah.
to heal. And so if whether it's clarity or if you have to start with sleep, it's
Yeah.
all worth it in the end. So
Absolutely. Well,
that,
Jennifer, I hope I have you back because this was a
yes.
very meaningful conversation for me, and I so
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely always give me you always give me a little bit of clarity every time we speak. So I
No.
appreciate you again, and I will put your information out there. I will get the recording out to you as soon as possible. And next week's Tuesday Tea Talk, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what I have on the agenda, but I do know it's gut health this month that I am talking about, and it is me solo. So I hope y'all can come back and see me next week. And again, Jennifer, thank you for coming. And I'll see you again. We'll have to book this again, okay?
Thank you. Talk soon.
Uh, all right. Bye bye.
Bye.